The Flash. It's a funny and lighthearted movie, but heartfelt and touching. It's just this fun roller coaster of a movie, but despite that, there was still something missing. It felt like a giant corporate superhero movie with lots of cameos. It's fast-paced and messy and a bit loud at times. Despite a handful of touching moments with Barry and his mom, the movie felt rushed. Things in this movie kind of just happen quickly, and it takes a while with all of the visual effects and action to really process what's going on. There was a few times my mind wandered off and I forgot I was even watching a Flash movie. The visual effects were fine in some shots and just trash in the others. They looked more like cutscenes from a video game. And like not PS5 Unreal Engine shots, I'm thinking more PS3. Like the first shot in the movie was a close-up of a clock and it was in CG and it looked like trash. Like complete fucking trash. So I don't know if at some point like DC Studios cut the plug on this movie and stopped funding The Flash, but a lot of those visual effects looked unfinished and raw. Like my wife's I mean, I get it. A lot of shit was going on behind the scenes with Warner Brothers and production on this movie. The pandemic, changes in studio execs, Warner Bros. Being bought by another company, Ezra Miller being a total creep. I even remember seeing that at some point they were planning on scrapping this movie entirely. I've also heard there were different endings and cameos taken out of the film because the future of DC Studios was unclear and in turmoil. Like Henry Cavill apparently filmed a scene and they totally threw that shit out because they bamboozled my boy Henry. I'd love to dig into the DC Studios vault to watch the different cuts of the movie, or even the scenes that were omitted. Like I'm hearing that they were begging Christian Bale to try to get into the Flash movie, have that cameo in the end. I feel like at this point the studio is just rushing to be over with this movie and start with Gunn's new DC universe. And like the after credit scene was like, what the fuck was that? There was like no need for that scene other than to generate hype or like remind audiences that, hey, you know, there's still this Aquaman movie that nobody's really excited about. This movie leaves things open-ended. Like it introduces the multiverse, but introduces like 2 new Batmans, and it's unclear what happens to Zack Snyder's universe. Which, you know, at this point, we kind of just have to accept that we're never going to see the Snyderverse complete its Justice League trilogy. But hey, who knows? Maybe we'll see it in the future. I noticed there was a lot more Latinos in this movie than I expected. Sasha is Colombian, Andy Muschetti is Argentinian, and Ezra Miller's mom is Latina, which I'm not sure is from the comics, but it was great seeing some Latin representation in a big studio movie that isn't stereotypical or taboo. Muschetti is directing the new Batman movie, so it would be cool if they cast a Latino Batman. I'm thinking like Gael Garcia Bernal, or I don't know, something fucking crazy like Gabriel Iglesias. I've seen a lot of interviews with Andy Muschetti, and I noticed in this movie there was a lot of like comedy. And a big influence for the comedy in this movie was El Chapulin Colorado, who's like this really famous Mexican. He's a Mexican superhero, and he's a Mexican actor and a Mexican character, but famous throughout Latin America. And I appreciated that Andy Muschetti, you know, referenced that as kind of an inspiration, because that's, as a Latino, as a Latin American, it was just cool to see. Also, I think we were cheated out of a Batman Beyond movie. Like, that movie depended on the success of The Flash. Like, I'm hearing that the Batman Beyond live-action movie would have had Michael Keaton as an older Bruce Wayne, and they would have casted a new Terry and a new Batman, and it would have been like this futuristic type thing, like, you know, in the show. But because The Flash is doing so poorly in the box office, we're not going to be able to see that. I mean, who knows, maybe in the future we will with Gunn's new DC universe, but fuck, man, it would have been nice to see this right now, that we have Michael Keaton at a, you know, I mean, he's getting older, but he's still in a pretty fit. He's still pretty fit is what I'm trying to say. Point is, I wanted that movie now, not later. It was fun seeing Michael Keaton as Batman again. And when that Danny Elfman score played on screen, I was filled with goosebumps. And seeing Clooney as Batman was a surprise to be sure, but a welcomed one. People hate on his bat nips, okay, and I don't blame them, but I always thought he was a great Bruce Wayne. They didn't take advantage of him. He just got a bad script and a bad movie, quite frankly. And Sasha Calle was really cool, and it was fun to see her on screen, aside from the fact that she's also mommy. But my biggest gripe was that they had so much story material from Flashpoint to pull from. Like, they could have just done a comic accurate Flashpoint and it would have been awesome. And there are so many actors already in the DC universe like Cavill that they didn't take advantage of. Like, I get it, we got to see Gal Gadot, and I don't think we're going to see Ben Affleck as Batman again. We're still not sure about Gal Gadot. We didn't even see anything from Cyborg, who's... Ray Fisher is like a real life superhero. He just ended on bad terms with Warner Brothers because they were being sketchy as hell. I just felt like they just could have used those actors that were already there. And I also felt like Keaton was underused and the cameos weren't even fun. Like, they didn't even explain why Michael Keaton decided to not be Batman anymore. Apparently there's a deleted scene that explains that, but like, why not include it is what I'm wondering. Like, why the hell didn't the studio want to fucking show it? And they didn't even explain who killed Barry's mom. Like, that was a huge plot hole. Apparently they're trying to save it for like the sequel, but there's no guarantee there's going to be a sequel at this point. If they had just done a comic accurate Flashpoint, it would have solved a lot of these issues. So The Flash, it's a fun movie despite the fact that it's messy, fast, and the leading man is a total creep in real life. But other than that, it's a roller coaster of a movie, and it's a good time. I recommend you check it out. Maybe wait until it streams on Max. I don't know if it's worth watching in the movie theaters. Quite honestly, this movie isn't much better than an all-teeth blowjob. If you enjoyed this movie, consider liking and subscribing. I'll be posting more videos like this one. My name is Bruce Wayne, and you want to get nuts? Let's get nuts.